My friend keeps on talking about my ex in front of my fiancée. The author of the post is listed in the description. My 29M best friend Jess, 29F, keeps on mentioning my ex, 29F, in front of my fiancée, and I'm thinking of cutting her off. I want to know if I am overreacting, or if Jess is in the wrong. For context, Jess and I went to the same high school and the same college. We were friends in high school. However, since we both went to the same out-of-state college, we became best friends since then. We have always been there for each other during the best and worst times. However, things have always been platonic, and she is more like a big sister to me, who made sure I stay on the right track. I have only been in 2 long-term relationships so far. One was with my ex, Lisa, for 7 years. We met in college and dated all through our college years. Lisa and Jess also became good friends too. After college, Lisa and I just grew apart and had different goals in life. I became boring after college as I was working on my PhD while doing a full-time job. Lisa broke up with me as she wanted to party on weekends while I was home studying. I was heartbroken, but I don't think I ever blamed her or had resentment towards her, as I understood my decisions were selfish and should not hold her back from having the best life. Jess always stood by me and comforted me during that time. Jess and Lisa were good friends, and Jess always kept on telling me that Lisa loves me and will be back one day when I am ready. I foolishly held on to that hope and stayed friends with Lisa. That was until I met my fiancé, Yang. After I finished my PhD, I got a nice job in a big tech company. Yang joined our team a year after me. We started going out for drinks and dinner, and we started dating seriously pretty soon. We are happy together, and financially in a great place. Needless to say, I stopped talking to Lisa after I started dating Yang. I proposed to Yang a year after we started dating and got engaged last year. Jess has been acting weirdly since we got engaged. One of the first things she said to Yang after we got engaged was how I had planned the same thing for Lisa, proposing on a local hiking trail. It was a bit off-putting that she was bringing up Lisa, whom I broke up with almost 5 years ago on such a happy occasion. However, Yang asked me to not spoil my mood, as she felt Jess was just commenting on how I had that plan in mind for years. Since then, every time we meet, Jess without fail brings up Lisa, and how the things I am doing are all the things I had planned with Lisa. This happened when we bought a house, planned for vacations, etc. Jess always starts with some nostalgic story and then brings up how Lisa and I were so happy together. She is still good friends with Lisa and keeps giving me updates about Lisa and how great Lisa is doing at work when no one is asking for it. It felt like she was painting a rosy picture of Lisa to Yang and telling Yang that she would always be second to Lisa. Yang told me Jess's comments bothered her, and I also felt the same. I have brought this up with Jess many times and asked her not to do it. However, she says she will try, but since I dated Lisa for 7 years, she would be part of many stories from the past. Also, she asked me why talking about Lisa bothers me and if I still have feelings for her. I have reduced hanging out with Jess. However, she is close with my mom and is always invited to all our family parties and holidays. I talked to my mom and sister about this, and they feel I am overreacting. They feel Jess is just telling stories, and since the stories are mostly from college days and later, Lisa will be a character in the story. They also feel I should not be bothered by Jess mentioning Lisa since we broke up a long time ago. I feel that it's disrespectful to Yang, as she doesn't need to hear about all the fun Lisa and I had when we were together and how we were planning to get married. Do you think I am the asshole to stop here, or Jess is truly acting out of line? Relevant comments. Commenter: probably need to separate your time with your fiancé away from your friend. On a side note, your friend comes across poorly on one other aspect. When you were too busy to date so you could study. She is encouraging you to stay available while your ex goes about dating around. Think she ever encouraged your ex to not? Or do you think she was telling your ex she could have all the fun she wanted because you'd still be around? Food for thought. Oop. She thought we were 24 when we broke up, and she always justified that Lisa was young, and it's natural to date around before you settle down. She also encouraged me to do the same. However, after my breakup, I decided that I would not be in a relationship, based on what happened to the previous one, and never dated anyone until after I graduated. Commenter: not wrong. In fact, it's thoughtful of your finest's feelings. Jess always kept on telling me that Lisa loves me and will be back one day when I'm ready. Yikes. And easy. Jess, you keep bringing up my ex and keep making comments which are dismissive of my relationship with Yang. I'm telling you point blank that this is harming our friendship, and it saddens me that you dismiss my feelings as being unimportant on this topic. If you can't respect me and my relationship with Yang, please understand why it will likely end our friendship. Oop, we have had this exact conversation. Jess then proceeded to ask Yang is she offended by her telling stories about me. Yang was polite and said she is okay. Then she told me I am being too sensitive. Commenter, do you know if Lisa is married? Maybe Jess is trying to sabotage your engagement so you can be with Lisa. Oop, I know Lisa is single. She has not been in any serious long-term relationship after me. Infant. Jess always makes it a point to bring that up regularly and update me even after I tell her I have no interest. My mom loves gossip, and they also discuss out Lisa regularly. Jess is just being a mean girl. Have you talked to Lisa at all? At this point, I suspect Jess is just being mean to Yang. I would have cut her off long ago if she was not so close to me or my family for so many years. Lisa is out of the picture, to be honest. I have completely gone no contact with her for the last 2 years. Jess has feelings for you. That's not true. I did not write it since I thought it was irrelevant. But Jess is happily married and has a 3-year-old kid. Update. After my post, I decided to talk to Jess and gave her an ultimatum not to speak about my ex Lisa again. I know Jess and Lisa are still friends, but I was uncomfortable of her comparing my fiancé Yang with Lisa all the time. I broke up with Lisa 5 years ago, and she is nothing but a faint memory in my past. Jess kept on defending herself and telling me that I was with Lisa for most of my adult life, and it's hard to tell any stories from the past without including her. She also blamed me for being emotionally childish and just forgetting about Lisa when she was with me for 7 years. Finally, Jess agreed that she will not bring up Lisa in front of Yang, and I should also not treat Lisa as she does not exist since she is still Jess's friend. I informed Yang about our conversation. Although she was appreciative about it, she said I did not need to do it, and she knows how much I love her, and every time Jess brings up my Lisa, she feels sorry for Lisa that she let a guy like me go. Yang went to visit China 2 weeks ago for a month as we plan to get married in her hometown. She is taking care of her shopping as well as preparations for the wedding. Jess invited me to her house that Friday for dinner as I was home alone. I'm also good friends with her husband, and we were all just chatting and drinking in the living room. Around 7:30 p.m., the doorbell rang, and Jess excitedly went to open the door. To my surprise, it was fucking Lisa at the door. She was all dressed up as if she were ready for a date and came in. I had not seen her in person for almost 3 years, and I was shocked to see her. She sat down and started making small talk with me. I was extremely uncomfortable and went into the kitchen to talk to Jess. I was angry at her and asked her what was going on. She kept on telling me that it's been 5 years since the breakup and to get over it and be nice to Lisa. She said Lisa was excited to meet me and she thought we were all adults and could have one fun evening together. We had a fight, and I told her that she should not have invited Lisa after our conversation the other day, and I do not want to be friends with her anymore. I went into the living room and politely excused myself and told everyone that I had a work emergency and had to leave early. Lisa looked sad, but I genuinely felt uncomfortable to be made to hang out with my ex without my consent. I came home and called Yang. I have never seen her more furious, and she told me she is not comfortable with Jess anymore as she has some agenda that we do not know about. It's different to talk about Lisa, but to invite her without consulting is not okay. I also felt the same, and I called Jess the next day and told her that she crossed a line, and I was terribly upset with her. I stopped taking her calls and ghosted her. I also told my mom and sister about the whole incident. Last Sunday, my mom called me for lunch. When I got there, I saw Jess was already there. I told my mom that I do not want to talk to Jess and can't stay. However, she asked me to sit, as they all wanted to talk to me. I have a glutton for punishment and decided to hear them out. My mom started with how Jess has been there for me all these years and only has my best interest at heart. She kept on telling me that they are the 3 people, Mom, sister, and Jess, that love me the most. Jess started saying how she felt that I was making a big mistake in not having to hear what Lisa had to say. She told me that Lisa was my first love, and Lisa is now ready to settle down, and we can pick where we left off. She reminded me how broken I was when Lisa left me, and how life is giving me a second chance. My sister also chimed in and said how they all liked Lisa more than Yang and how we both looked so great together. Finally, my mom started saying how our culture was so different than Yang, and it is hard for them to relate to her. I asked them in what way, and my mom said that they did not understand what Yang says sometimes and have nothing in common with her. Then my mom asked me to think about how Lisa and I would have such wonderful-looking kids, while if I marry Yang, our kids will look so different. I started getting their drift, and I probed more. My mom told me how our kids would look Asian with small eyes and not like any others in the family. I asked my mom if she cared about my kids' looks more and not about how smart they will be since Yang has a PhD. She blew it off, and I realized she just did not want me to marry Yang because she was Chinese and not white. My mom told me to forgive Jess, and my mom asked Jess to talk to Lisa on my behalf and asked her if she would be interested in getting back together with me. My mom was adamant that since I loved Lisa so much, I should be happy and pick up things where we left off, as that is the best for everyone. I have never been so angry, and may have said a lot of unkind things to all of them before I left. I am so depressed right now. I not only lost my best friend, but also am not sure how I can move on from what my mom said. My mom and sister raised me, and that is the reason where I am today. However, I cannot get over how racist they are being, and how they were just pretending to like Yang all these years while actively working on breaking us up. I have been so shocked that I have not told any of this to Yang so far. I might wait for her to come back next week and talk to her in person. Again, thanks everyone for all your messages on the last post, as they helped me a lot to think through the situation. My life is more fucked up than I could imagine, and I cannot imagine how dejected Yang will feel after hearing all this. Okay, next story. ATA. For not attending the wedding of my cousin and my ex-boyfriend? I, 32F, was engaged to marry Travis, 33M. But a couple of weeks before the wedding was supposed to take place, he said that he didn't want to get married. I asked him if he was cheating, and he said no. He told me that most of his friends were already marrying or starting families, so he thought it was time to settle down, but he had just realized that he didn't want to do it. Suffice to say, the wedding was canceled, and that was the end of our relationship. It's been about a year since that happened. Things haven't been exactly great, but I've managed. Well, some days ago, I received an invitation to the wedding of my cousin Taylor, 26F. Imagine my surprise when I read it and saw that my ex-fiancé was the groom. I had only seen them barely interact during family meetings. I hadn't noticed any clue that pointed to anything happening between the two of them all this time. Some info about my cousin. She's what some people would call a free spirit. She doesn't have a conventional job. She works as an artist. She dyes her hair in unusual colors, sometimes blue, sometimes green, for example, and dresses extravagantly. Once she wore a white robe. Another time she wore a black leather jacket and spiked boots. She says that she doesn't like following society's rules and that she only follows her own code. Immediately, I called my parents. I asked them if they had known something about Taylor's relationship with Travis. To summarize, yes, they did. They hadn't intended on telling me because they figured out there would be no positive outcome to it, but they also made it clear that they expected me to come to the wedding anyway in order to show support to my family. At this point, I lost it and shouted that they were delusional if they believed that I would go to the wedding of my cheating liar ex and his manic pixie dream girl. They said that I can't keep holding on to my hatred and resentment forever and that I need to let go. But I hang up. My extended family has been blowing up my phone since then, saying that I'm a bad person if I don't attend. Right now, I feel so confused, betrayed, and disappointed. I'm no longer sure if I'm being irrational or not. So I think it might be best to ask for an outside point of view. Aita, ETA. Holy shit, I can't believe it. I go away for a few hours and find so many comments. To clear up some questions, the main reason I doubted was because my family is tight-knit and traditional, and my parents raised me to believe that family comes before everything else. But y'all helped me realize that my feelings are valid. Update. Hi, it's me again. Thanks to everyone who commented in my first post. Some people asked for an update, and here you have it. I've read all of your comments, and I've got to say the ones who gave me tips on how to be petty made me laugh, but after thinking about it, I decided to simply not attend the wedding. I'll also be distancing myself from my parents and extended family, at least for a while for the former, indefinitely for the latter. I also told my friends about the whole situation, and they were even more pissed off than some of you. I told them about the suggestion that some commenters made about going on vacation during the week of the wedding, and we've already started making plans. Something else happened in the last few days. I received a call from Travis. He asked me if we could meet and talk. I know it was probably stupid of me, but I accepted. We met in a public place, and I told him I wanted to know exactly what was going on between him and Taylor. This is what he told me. First, he made sure to emphasize that he had never cheated on me. Not sure if I believe him, but I let him talk. He told me that he too felt bad about our relationship's end, that on a night out he just happened to end up in the same place as my cousin. They started talking. One thing led to another, and he proceeded to have a middle-age crisis with her. The only reason he's getting married to her is because she's pregnant, and he was afraid that she would just run away and he'd never get to meet his child. After that talk, we went our separate ways. He wished me good luck, and I said the same. As soon as I came back home, I blocked his number. So at the end of the day, I'm left with more questions than answers. But whatevs, that's no longer my problem. Anyway, this is it. I don't think I'll be posting in this account again. Once again, thank you for your support when I needed it. Third story. Cheating wife left me. Wires affair. Hello, everyone. I'm currently going through a separation with my wife. My wife and I were college sweethearts since I was 19 years old and have been together for 10 years. On April 1st, 2024, we kissed each other goodbye, for work said I love you to each other. And then, at 2 p.m., she texted me that it was over and we should separate. I rushed home from work, and she told me she had been having an affair with one of her managers at work from August 23rd to October of 23. Starting off at a company golf tournament where they had relations in his car after everyone had left and drove home completely smashed. She blamed me for the affair, said that I had caused her to go insane over the years because of my lack of emotional connection with her, adding that I worked till late and I prioritized friends over her, all of which is completely untrue. I know I'm loving, kind, and I always scheduled dates and talked with her after work, even calling her on my 45 minutes commute home from work to see how her day went and how she was feeling. I tried to include her in everything I did, just coming to the realization on a few different factors. She never liked my family, friends, hobbies, the food I made, the way I dressed, my music, even how I looked for parking spots. She would tell me that I smelled bad, the food I made smelled bad. Sometimes she'd slap me, which I oughta stopped to around when it first started. She'd constantly complain that I was too active. This past year, she tried to convince me that I didn't love my dog, really, and that she was the better pet parent. I'd let her know that these things she was saying and doing hurt my feelings, but never received an apology or even a glance. I know there's two sides to a relationship, and I'm not perfect. I'd argue with her, yell sometimes, get frustrated with things that were going on. Sometimes, if she was in a bad mood or having a breakdown because of an event, something bad at work, she had a fear of storms and would just cry in the basement until they passed. I would try to console her, tell her that everything would be all right and that there's different ways to look at a situation. I would have my meltdowns because of work, not feeling adequate, frustration, etc. She wouldn't stay with or console me. I've been telling her for the past few years that I have just been feeling so unloved in the relationship. I know I'm rambling, but I just don't know what I got myself into over the last 10 years. I thought I was in love, but I don't know anymore. As I've been talking to my therapist over the past few weeks, we've been dissecting my relationship. And a few things I remember from college was that I'd tried to break up with her several times, but she would lock herself in my room for hours and cry, until I concluded that we would work things out. Again, she would constantly tell me that I wasn't emotionally available to her, but I would always try to express my feelings and get blank stares from he. I'd hold her, kids her, tell her every day how much I loved her, but it wasn't enough. Personalized cards for Valentine's Day and her birthday trips, time spent with her side of the family instead of mine for holidays. I just feel like I did everything that I could have for her. I know I have character flaws too, but Jesus, did I deserve to be cheated on, raked through the mud, and then cast aside like trash when she was finally done with me? Now, when we've met since she's cold, no emotion, everything is my fault. We've moved out of the house, gotten separate apartments while we wait to put the house on the market. I can't sleep at night. I wake up covered in sweat at 2 a.m. and can't go back to sleep because I have dreams of this person I thought I loved getting railed by her boss. I feel like such a loser. I feel inadequate. I feel like I stuck in a living hell of situation. However, every day gets better. My friends call to talk to me. One of them is taking care of me, feeding me, letting me stay on his couch until we can get a 2-bedroom later in the summer. I started going back to church, joined a divorce group, started working out, and have lost a substantial amount of weight. I don't know why I'm posting this, but kudos if you read through the hardest, most depressing situation of my life. I'll take any words of advice or anything that anyone wants to share. Insights as well. I just feel so lost and don't know what my future holds or how to crawl forward at this point. I feel so pathetic about this person that I chose to spend my life with that now makes me sick when I see her. Sincerely, Travis. How do you like these stories? Write your opinion in the comments. Let's get 1,000 subscribers on this channel. Love you.